Hello everybody, I'm very excited to announce today is the first day of our new show, Compte Rendu. It's running today until November 8th. It is 25 days before the next election, and we thought it was high time to do a show that combined these classical realists with some of the contemporary issues of the day. This isn't the normal thing that we see with contemporary realists, but this is what we're doing. And the show was actually inspired by Christy Gordon's work. Christy Gordon is a Canadian that we met actually at the New York Academy, one of the events there. I think it was their open studio night. Anyhow, Christy Gordon did a couple paintings last year that were really kind of very different for what we normally see, and I found myself strangely drawn to them. And actually Megan came up with the name. It's called Compte Rendu, this show. Compte Rendu was a tradition in old France where the king was always separated from most of the people and what was actually happening, and his agents would go out and see what was actually happening in the kingdom, and they'd deliver a report directly to him. And a lot of times it was not the good news, it was the bad news. It was the critical news that he needed to know of what was happening in the kingdom. And so this is our Compte Rendu of where we are in our country today. And I just have to say, Christy Gordon, who's a Canadian, actually left the country pretty soon after the last presidential election. She was not comfortable. And she came back and forth to Brooklyn, and she also went to the Metropolitan Museum of Art and was looking at the work of Bruegel, Hieronymus Bosch, and Jan van Eyck. And Van Eyck's Last Judgment painting was very much inspired her to do this painting, which I'm gonna, hi guys. Hi. I'm gonna show you. This is the painting that really inspired the concept of let's do a show called Compte Rendu. This painting is where she is painting, this is Central Park, and she's got people walking through the park, but there's this symbol of death, which is kind of like just mixed in, and the people look somewhat unaware, but definitely being affected by this unforeseen and unseen risk. Now, this painting would make sense if you did it during the shutdown in New York because of the pandemic, but that's not when this painting was made. This painting was made a year ago, but well before the pandemic hit. She also showed us images of paintings, and we're going to go into detail on these paintings, but there was often fires and menacing elements of nature, which we have all experienced this year with the wildfires in California and the concerns around global warming. So I think that her comments before the pandemic hit, before the civil unrest, before the wildfires, her feeling when she was making these paintings was that there was a bipolarity of destiny. That's what she called it. And she said, for her, in this painting, she has hope and conflict coexisting, which is kind of an interesting thing about being a human today. She also mentioned that multi-figure compositions are technically challenging, and we do know that. I think she's very, very successful in this, in this one in particular. This composition is very powerful. And the other artist that I want to highlight that also inspired us to do this show, that once we saw Christie's and we got the idea of Compte Rendu, we could not do a show without Adam Strauss. Adam Strauss is a Long Island painter. We'll show you this one. This is the most important one. He's a Long Island painter. He grew up the son of two activists, and he reads the old-fashioned newspapers. And he's a huge consumer of the news and newspapers. And I believe this painting was done in 2017, yes. But what you'll see here is he's put the newspaper headlines underneath, or on top of the canvas, but underneath the painting of the valley in Yosemite. This is called Old News Yosemite. And the point of this painting is that no matter what man is saying and doing, the solidity and the predictability of the valley blooming in Yosemite is much more powerful. And so what he's basically saying is nature trumps man's political news. And I find this a very powerful and positive painting. And it's a major work. It's 48 by 86 inches. And we have a lot of painters from all around the world in this show, and they all have something from their own perspective to share with us. We've got some amazing work by Stephen Levin from Minnesota, Melissa Franklin Sanchez from Fiesole. She's English, but she lives in Italy. Patti Watt has a fabulous work, which we're going to highlight later. She's from Kansas, I believe, and she's living in New York many years now. Patrick Burns, who's an American who's now living in France. We have 2 portraits here by him. Emily Persone is an artist that we found online. She's in Australia. And we also are showing a drawing by George Morton. And we have an amazing painting of Mar-a-Lago by Leo Mancini Fresco, which we think is a little bit of comedy to show that. And finally, we have some paintings on, incredible drawings on found objects by Scott Dorn. He's an East End artist. He lives on the East End of Long Island. And that's what we're going to be highlighting over the next month and a half or so. We highly recommend you go to GrunningGallery.com. If you see this on YouTube, we'd like you to subscribe as well. And this show is up until, what's the date, Megan?
November 8th.
November 8th. So this will be up through the election, and hopefully we'll know who the new president is by the time this show comes down. So please come down and see us. We are wearing masks all day long, but we're very happy to see you.